Brian Manchee here with Basis Technologies. I am excited, ecstatic to sit down with Valda Coryat with McCormick.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. So McCormick is a fantastic portfolio of
Yes.
brands,
Yes.
and you've got a storied past working with various CPG companies as well.
hmm
Tell me about your role at McCormick and
Sure.
what you're excited about.
Sure. Well, at McCormick, I'm the Vice President of North America Marketing for our Condiments and Sauces portfolio. What I like to tell people is you may know McCormick for our spice blends and our black pepper and vanilla, but did you know that we also own Frank's, Cholula's, French's, Stubbs barbecue sauce? So all of that saucy, spicy stuff is also under the McCormick umbrella.
How important is it for consumers like myself
Mhm.
to know that, hey, these are all part of the McCormick brand? Is that important for you all, or as long as I'm buying my Franks and I'm buying
Mhm.
my Stubbs, that's good?
Yeah. No, it's important because you know what? We like to say that flavor is everything. Why eat if the food doesn't taste good, right? And so while, there's a number of techniques that people use from dry rubs, for example, sauce has become a pretty important part as well of people's cooking as well as their eating occasions as we look at it. So you absolutely need both the dry and the wet to really make that food taste good.
I love it. I
Mhm.
love it. That's amazing. You're making me hungry too, which is
And
okay.
it's lunchtime.
It's part of the biz, right? That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when you think about the products that you have, those
Mhm.
the sauces, the spices that are out there that
Yes.
make people hungry, that will make them salivate.
Mhm.
I imagine from a marketing perspective, there's great opportunity across that paid space,
Mhm.
even the earned space and also
Yeah.
the owned space. Can you kind of talk about what your strategy is
Mhm.
and how you approach some of that in each one of those channels?
Sure, sure. So, for one, I just want to start with every brand has a story, right? And so, from that story and based on who we're targeting, we decide which social channels, which mix of media makes the most sense. And so sometimes what we're doing is not necessarily even creating the content,
Mm.
right? We are capturing consumer insights via social listening. And a lot of times, our consumers, those passionate fans, people who put that bleep on everything, right? Franks, they're giving us the content because they're so excited to show what they've created. So we also have user generated content. And then, test and learns. I mean, we see what performs the strongest real time. And of course, you want to put your dollars behind what is going to pay out the best, right, from an ROI perspective. So we really do leverage a number of different, tactics and so forth across our social channels, but also testing in some new media. Everybody's, of course, talking about AI and augmented reality. We just launched during the Super Bowl a Fortnite game with Franks. So we're super excited about the results there, and we'll continue to do that, as we really tighten our marketing plans.
That's amazing.
hmm
That's amazing. I love the recent Super Bowl campaign with that around
hmm
Fortnite. I mean, that's not an audience that I would immediately think of.
hmm
I feel like it maybe skews a little bit younger. Is that thinking about maybe the next generation, or knowing that, hey, there's actually a decent audience that maybe is a little bit older that's playing within the space?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually look at certainly younger millennials and even Gen Z. We call them Generation Heat. They like hot sauce, they like flavor. And so we're really, doing a lot of new things to reach out to them. And, the other piece of that Super Bowl promotion included DoorDash. So, I mean, listen, when you're playing video games, you got to eat too, right? So, what better way than to combine that with a DoorDash promotion? And that was hugely successful for us.
That's fantastic. So, one of the areas McCormick and like the various house of brands, whether
Mm-hmm.
again Frank's or Stubbs, I typically think about I'll go to my local grocery store and I'll
Mm-hmm.
purchase that.
Yep.
But you're seeing this incredible shift
Yep.
of e-com
Mm-hmm.
and direct to consumer.
Absolutely.
Can you talk a little bit about what your strategy is and how that's evolved over a little bit of time, and how
Yeah.
you're thinking about it maybe through the rest of this year?
Yeah, we've had a lot of success as well with ecom. I think we're actually among our peers, one of the strongest performers in that particular channel. And so for us, it really depends on who we're targeting. Again, I always go back to who is that target consumer. We are seeing adoption rates, certainly increase for an older generation. But again, there are some that it's table stakes. I mean, a lot of people are ordering directly from social media, right? Amazon, we know, is a
Mhm.
major player. If you were to go to Amazon now and type in hot sauce, one of the first things you would see, aside from Frank's, would also be our Cholula variety pack. So we've got 5 flavors in that
Mm.
pack, and it's at the top, right? So when you think about shelf positioning, we're looking at the e-commerce space the same way that we look at retail shelves. That eye level is that prime real estate, and how do we get to eye level? So between 1 and 2 rows down. So we've really been enjoying that.
That's great.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, you brought up Amazon,
Hmm.
which is interesting. There are some brands that are fearful
Hmm.
of working with Amazon because of the, quote unquote kind of wall gardens that exist that I
Hmm.
feel like many people experience, whether it was at Facebook or a Google,
Hmm.
and still, but with Amazon on a more retail side,
Hmm.
how do you navigate that space? Is it I don't want to say necessary evil because that sounds so bad.
Hmm.
It's an incredible platform and outlet, but to be able to get the data, get the insights that you want,
Hmm.
is it more of a trade off there, knowing, hey, here's a market, here's an opportunity for growth, or what's your perspective on something
Yeah. Well,
like an Amazon?
no, I think it's all of the above,
Yeah,
right? I'm a consumer too. Certainly, my 16-year-old and my 21-year-old, they'll tell me if you're not there, then you're not going to get my
sure.
purchase. So at the end of the day, we really are looking at Amazon as we do our DTC space. We have also direct to consumer. And also, our retailers are looking at what they sell online as well, on their e commerce platform. So we're really managing, I would say, multiple channels. It's an omni channel approach.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, one last question for you. If you had a magic wand
Hmm.
and you were able to change anything about the industry that
Hmm.
would help you maybe do your job better, or just overall make everybody's lives better,
Whoa,
what would you do with that magic wand?
that is a big question. Magic wand that would make everyone's lives easier.
Or it could just make your life easier. That's fine. I won't
Oh
judge.
gosh. Okay. Make my life easier. I would love if, God, you got me on that question. There's so many things I would want to do.
It can be more than one. This is
Okay.
we'll play genie rules. Maybe you've
All
got
right.
three.
I actually wish that there was a way for us to more quickly adapt to some of the changing technology that's out there. So digital is moving so fast.
Mhm.
A lot of times for us as an established company, getting all of that knowledge, if you will, we're building that competency within our organization with people that we hire. But I still think the systems, right?
Yeah.
So I really wish that there was a way that some competitors were actually more partners.
Hmm.
That would make my life a lot easier. And I think it would make consumers' lives a lot richer.
I love that. That's great.
Mhm.
That's great. I feel like that's not too ambitious. Maybe we can make that happen. But yeah,
Yeah.
the complexity that exists
Yeah.
within the industry from a consumer perspective, from a
Yep.
marketer's perspective, it can be overwhelming.
Yes.
So yeah, if we can find ways to simplify that,
Mhm.
and it sounds like y'all are doing it, building up some of those practices, those capabilities, those expertise in house.
We're
So
working at it
that's
for
fantastic.
sure.
All right.
Yep.
Well, Velda, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for
Mhm.
joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.